Okay, what up, ladies and gents? Are we live? Welcome back to another video. It's your favorite Asian robot right here. All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, today what we're going to be talking about is we're going to be doing a deep dive into my fully tested Harris build for the First Descendant now that patch 1.3.10 has settled in. All right, as you guys know, the defense bug was removed and a lot of folks rushed their builds early, but what you have to realize is that when there's a bug, things will change. However, we have fully tested it and we are confident in this build to ensure that you guys get the best farming experience with Harris. All right. That's why I said that Harris is a character that really needs proper testing, especially for her cooldown windows, skill power scaling, trigger module synergies, all that kind of stuff. While I did not get a chance to test Steel Vanguard because unfortunately RNG was not in my favor, I did put her through, several tests of Supermassive Receptor, Void Abyss, all that kind of stuff to find out what actually works with her. All right. Now, in this guide, I'm going to show you my ideal trigger modules, my most effective module setup, and we will not be using an ancestor module, so this build is accessible to all. All right. If you do not have their ancestor module, don't worry. I don't have one either. Okay. I'll show you the optimal Arche tuning for her and the weapon choices that really bring out her burst potential. So if you want a build that's effective, easy to use, strong in both AoE and single target, then let's jump right in. All right. Now, if anyone can figure out a bossing build, please let me know because I'm still waiting for a good bossing build to arrive. Have not seen one yet, but I'm keeping my eyes open for one that is bug-free, okay? Thank you very much. Now, before we get into this, one last little thing, okay? So sorry, but I do want to showcase this. If you guys haven't already supported my music, all right, this is my SoundCloud page. And in case you don't already know, I'm also a verified artist on Spotify and all major music platforms like Deezer, Apple Music, Amazon Music, wherever, even YouTube Music. So if you guys want to support me a little extra, play my tracks, it's free, all right, and I get paid whenever you play my tracks, all right? We've got even more music coming for you guys, so look forward to it. Now, let's get into this build. Okay, so how do you actually build Harris for farming or combat or whatever else? Okay, this is not a bossing build, okay, but this is a farming build that can do any kind of farming content. So let's talk about it. Okay, first things first, Reactor. Toxic Mixture is your choice. This gives you Toxic Skill Power, Fusion Skill Power, okay? For your options, you want to have Skill Cooldown and Fusion Skill Power Boost Ratio. This gives her the best bang for her buck because she is not a crit character, all right? So this is what has really worked very well for her, and I tested it versus a Tech Reactor, and the Fusion Reactor works better, so remember that. Okay, external components, you're actually going to use the full Plague set. Why is that the case? Although the full Plague set reduces firearm critical hit rate and damage due to its 4-set effect, the consistent toxic skill power boost and, of course, the additional toxic skill power boost of 21.6% works really well for her. However, there is another option. You can also use the Hazmat Disposal Team set if you want to. The clear time between the Plague set and the Hazmat Disposal Team is practically the same, okay? But you will have to rely a bit more on your normal AoE type skills, and you have to kind of maintain the 5 stacks. So please be aware of this. There are some areas where this will be better, some areas where it will fall short. So if you prefer more consistent results, go with the Plague set. If you don't mind maintaining the buff, you can go with the Hazmat Disposal Team. They are both equally efficient, okay? So I'm going to show you the stats for the Plague set, which is what we use, and I will show you all the roles, whatever else you need to do, and you can carry on with that. And oops, sorry. Another advantage, sorry about the drilling though, my neighbor's going ham with his construction on work. Anyway, here's another little thing. When it comes to the Plague set, if you already built it for Keelan, you don't have to farm another one. All right, although you'll be missing out on some of the resistances, you can actually just plonk the entire set that you had for Keelan or Freyna and just throw it in here and you'll be perfectly fine, all right? So this is a lazier option for those that have built other Descendants and don't want to refarm their set. Okay, let's go through it together. So for the Plague set, you'll have the Plague Auxiliary Power. All right, these are the stats you will need. Please screenshot them. Okay, for the Plague Sensor, these are the stats you will need. Please screenshot them. Once again, here, if you want, you can have the Chill Resistance. You can have the Fire Resistance. Okay, the max MP is not necessary. So anything MP related, you can immediately remove and substitute it. So max MP, not needed. You can have HP recovery in combat, whatever else you want. Okay, for the memory, here are the stats I'm using. You can screenshot these. And for the Plague Processor, here are the stats I'm using. You can screenshot these. All right, that's it. that's everything you need for the external components. Now, weapons. Okay, for this particular build, especially for Supermassive Receptor, there are two weapons that are very necessary for this build. One is the Secret Garden. That is your stat stick. All right, it'll help you to run faster. And the other one is the Deus Ex Manus. That is your boss killer, okay? So for your stat stick Secret Garden, all right, I'm just going to show you this. You will be using the Secret Garden with 3 sprint speed cores, okay? This is not for dealing damage, so you don't have to actually worry about shooting anything with this. It's just to help you run around faster, okay? So make sure you have that. For the Manus, you'll be using a full proper build. So here's my Manus's stats, okay? I will show it to you again when we go through it fully, but let's go through it one by one. When it comes to the Secret Garden, the first and most important thing you need to understand is the unique ability. Whenever you use a tech skill, and again, sorry about the construction, wasn't expecting it today. When you use a tech skill, all right, Pest Control will trigger at a 50% rate, and once you get 3 stacks, you will get a bunch of skill power. This is raw skill power, which multiplies with your toxic skill power, hence why the Secret Garden is absolutely fantastic. I loved it in this build, all right? But since you're not shooting anything, the build doesn't really matter. However, you can copy this. This is the old Defiler build. I just left it there, haven't changed it. It doesn't matter. This build does not matter, but you can copy it if you want, okay? The main thing is having 3 sprint speed cores, and you can choose the weapon readjustments if you need them for future use as well. This will be a common weapon that is used in several builds, just Kyle's build, whatever, to move faster and clear content faster. So please remember that. All right. Then you've got the Deus Ex Manus. For the Deus Ex Manus, please make sure you've taken the exact core rolls and the weapon readjustments. Try to get them all gold if you can. If you can't, that's also okay. But try to have mostly gold rolls. All right. It's pretty important in order to be able to, for you to mash the boss fast. Now, the Manus's build matters. This matters, so please follow this exact build up here. When it comes to the Manus, what you want to have is faster attack speed, of course. You want to have more melee weapon attack, more crit damage, chill melee weapon attack. All right, here's the additional attack chance. Now, this is actually not necessary for the build, okay? The Manus doesn't really do additional attacks, but why do you have this? Attack speed modifier plus 5%. There's no reason not to have that. Chill priority as well is taken. You don't need any range increase on this. It will work perfectly fine without it. So this sword dance is also not necessary, okay? But the attack speed modifier of plus 5 is necessary. You want the fastest possible attack speed when you're swinging this. Veil Analyzer is also there to just help you out a little bit with this, okay? And you've got lethal swing for more crit damage, 1-point breakthrough for more melee weapon attack, and all that stuff. That's basically what the Manus does. Okay, the Manus is a crit-based sword. With this whole thing, I think it's best if I show you the stats, right? If you go to the info screen, you go to my Manus right here. Okay, my Manus will reach 100% crit rate. No problems there. Okay, it's got a 7.9 times critical damage multiplier. So whenever you crit, you're going to hit really, really hard. Okay, the additional attack chance is 48.5%, but you're only going to deal extra 10%. Still, all right, you can have that. It's not a bad thing. It's a minor little increase to your damage. All right. But the main thing that you need to understand is that the reduction of weapon range is not a problem. So don't ever sweat it. Just make sure that you're swinging the Manus at the boss to absolutely kill it. All right. So that's what you really, really want. Okay. Now that you understand the weapons for this, let's talk about the modules for Harris. Harris's modules are very important. We will not be using a Transcendent module for her because I find her more efficient without it. If you find that you can get a better clear time with the Transcendent module, by all means go for it. We're also going to be using Battering Ram. Battering Ram decreases the enemy's defenses, resistances. It's on a 2-second cooldown. You can bring this down to 1.5 if you got a better one than me for this. But I love the fact that I can absolutely decrease the enemy's defenses because this is beautiful. All right, the Earthquake also does a little bit of extra damage, but that's not really important. What is important is decreasing their resistances and defenses, all right? So for Harris, when it comes to her build, here's what you're going to use. Shield Charge is going to be your ultimate module, all right? Whenever you land a Clash type skill, which is these first two, Clash, right? You will convert a certain amount of your defense into a percentage and apply it to your skill power. This is pretty darn important because this will help you dish out more damage, all right? So make sure you're using Shield Charge. We did try Intimidation Release, but it's much worse now that the bug is gone, all right? So Shield Charge works better for this build of mine, all right? Power Increase. Focus on fusion. These are your damage increasers. Why focus on fusion? Because a lot of your damage is actually coming from designate danger zone. You'll be keeping this up constantly to drain your toxin and maintain your passive. Okay, if you're confused about how to play Harris, there'll be a how to play guide on Harris coming out separately. All right, because you really need to understand how to maintain her passive. I'll try and explain it while I'm playing, but the main thing that you got to understand is that she's got 3 stages to her passive, and maintaining all 3 gives you a whole bunch of buffs that is all listed here. They will last for about 12 seconds, but you really need to understand how to manipulate them so that you're getting the best results. Okay, for your survival, Battle of Stamina is more than enough because the Plague set gives you a lot of hit points. Skill expansion, you only need this so that you can have the maximum amount of range on your skills. Toxic amplification is to multiply together with power increase. Okay, then you've got nimble fingers and MP conversion to reduce your cooldowns. Focus on fusion is also to reduce your cooldowns. And then you've got skill extension to increase the duration of your skills. And last but not least, you've got spear and shield to up your defense as well as to increase your skill power. And like I already mentioned, shield charge is there to boost your skill power overall. Okay, so now that you have her modules, everything else you're going to need. Okay, let's go through the inversion reinforcer. The inversion reinforcer for Harris is pretty simple. I like to use the blade extension to assist with Deus Ex Manus. The selective cellular stimulation is to keep her healed up. And last but not least, I've got sword play enhancement mechanism, once again to assist with the Deus Ex Manus. I can see that they have messed up the tooltip once again. That's beautiful. All right, that's all you will need to worry about for the inversion reinforcer. For her Arche Tuning, this is what I've got for Harris. I mostly went down the right-hand side. I've taken a bit of skill range for farming. Okay, this is actually not necessary, but you're not going to fight Colossi with this, so you can ignore this part. I chose this, went up here just to get the enhanced skill power. Came up here, got a little bit more duration. Then I ignored cooldowns because you do not need this. All right, and then I've got the Toxic Chain Catalyst in here. If you've got a better mutant cell, all right, that can take this exact same build and get me a faster clear time. If you've got a mutant cell recommendation that you've tested that can get me an insane clear time, let me know and I'll happily test it out and change it. But this is the best that we managed to figure out. And of course, you want to come down here for a little bit of extra defense as well. So this is what helps Harris get really strong. Okay, so this is what I've got for her. Now, if you take a look at her cooldown modifier, it's at 75%. Now, the maximum is minus 0.90, which is 90%. All right, where do you get the extra 15%? That will actually come from her passive. The first level of Toxin gives you a 20% cooldown decrease additive. So you really want to have that, okay? Now, in order to make sure that this is always triggering, like I said, you have to maintain your Toxin levels during combat, all right? I'm going to try and show you this in the example demonstration. So let's go into an actual fight right now. Okay, you've heard all about this. You've heard me yapping about this. Let's go into a private run, and then I will show you how we play Harris and how Harris is expected to perform in combat situations. Okay, let's go. And of course, completely solo is totally fine. In fact, it's probably going to be faster than going in with teams, because a lot of teams that I've seen, they still can't handle the Supermassive Receptor even after the nerf because they don't build. Most of them, I checked up their builds when we went in public, and oh my god, it was horrendous. Okay. Now, make sure you have the Secret Garden in your hands before you begin. Get on your Vortex, get ready. Now, here's what you're going to do. Before you actually fight the first enemy, alright, trigger your first skill so that you just get a little bit of Toxin. Once you, do you see the passive thing there? Alright, it's gray, now it's going to have yellow. Alright, and then once you get the last buff, it's red. Do you see that? You got to have all 3 colors activated at all times. That's what makes Harris strong. Until you get to the boss, there's no need to pull out the Manus. So stay happily on your Secret Garden and you're good to go. If you ever need to drain your Toxin, use your 4th skill. Make sure you pick up the first buff again and you're pretty much good to go. Maintain your buffs as much as possible. Alright? Maintain your buffs as much as possible. Now here, I'm just letting my buffs run down so that I get the gray buff again. Alright, gray, yellow, red. Make sure you get all buffs. And then you can absolutely shred the Tyrant Razorclaw. Alright. Sorry about that. I did not properly shred him. Okay, there we go. Just laser him and he's dead. It's best if you cast 2 lasers, but you gotta make sure that he is vulnerable first, because the first hit will just remove his armor. Okay? So once again, same principle here. Okay, constantly trigger your 3rd skill to drain your Toxin. Alright? use your second skill as a gap closer. I don't jump up for long. You can jump up, but then you press it again to just dive in. All right, this will all be in the how to play Harris, but this is the proper style. Make sure you drain your toxin appropriately. You have to stay at that level for about half a second to maintain the buff, so make sure you do that. And just continuously drain your toxin while going around, and you're pretty much good to go. This is the way to play Harris, and this is how you can clear stuff fast. Okay, maintaining your toxin buffs will give you full freedom to absolutely rip your opponents. All right, there you go. Once again, we're starting out here. All right. Okay, this enemy's dead. Smack. Okay. Make sure you actually kill these guys, because they'll be the most annoying thing. Once they're actually dead, all right, life is good. Maintain your buff, take out these hordes of enemies. Now, this is slower than I normally do because I'm giving explanations while I'm showcasing it to you guys. But if you guys have seen me on streams, about 4 minutes, 40 seconds is very possible with Harris if you focus up on it. Or if I'm not talking to chat or something. Yeah, especially when I'm in the zone with my music. Now, make sure you use her second skill for mobility, and you're good to go. All right? Don't be afraid to spam her skills so long as you have your gray buff. If you do not have your gray buff, then you can start panicking because you're not going to have a great time. All right? Drain with your laser if you ever need to, and that'll be totally fine. Your skills actually have more area and distance than you think, so don't hesitate to abuse that. All right? Use the laser as frequently as you can, especially to help with the draining. Go straight to these dudes, laser them, and you're good. The laser deals a lot of damage. Abuse it. Okay, there you go. We're here. We're Gucci. Get the toxin on. Enemy spawn. Zip, zap, zoom with the laser. I keep the toxin on. Trigger the toxin as long as you've got all 3 buffs. Don't worry about the actual toxin levels. You just need to maintain them at the specific level, all right, for half a second to get the buff. That's all. Otherwise, don't even worry about it. Pay attention only to the buffs that you have, and that's all that matters. You want to maintain all 3 constantly, okay? So spend some time at gray level, spend some time at yellow level, and spend some time at orange level. Okay, keep doing this, and Harris will become a goddess of war. Now, once you're done with that, just hit Rainbow Road. All right, I'm sorry if this run takes about 5 minutes. Like I said, when you're doing explanations, it's not easy to explain and play at the fastest possible speed, but you can do it a lot faster with Harris once you practice, all right? Now here, I'll usually bring out the Manus. It makes clearing this a little bit slower, but it'll help. All right, as soon as this thing spawns, you want to try and hit it with 2 lasers if you can. If you can't, that's okay. 1 laser is enough, then start swinging your sword. Okay, you are going to take hits, but as you can see, it doesn't really matter. He's not going to be able to kill you or do anything to you. If he does go into this phase, because you didn't get 2 lasers on him, it's totally fine. You can just laser his ass and he'll die. All right, stay on your Manus. Stay on your Manus. Okay, as soon as he hooks, what you do is you spam this. Okay, get the first one down. Charge in, turn this on, and laser 2 of these at the same time by turning slightly. All right, spam this here, and you're pretty much good to go. Charge in and laser twice if you can. This will help you kill the boss faster, and then bada bing, bada boom. Swing the sword, hit with the Manus, and you're good to go. Let's see what the final clear time was. Yeah, about 5 minutes. I knew it. So, in actuality, you can easily get 4 minutes and 40 seconds. You can shave 20 seconds or even 30 seconds off if you're not doing explanations while fighting and if you're fully focused on the fight. Those are the fastest possible runs with Harris. But 5 minutes is not a bad clear time either, especially completely solo. So if you want a fast farmer, Harris can do it. Several of you have asked if Harris can do the Void Erosion Purge challenge mode. The answer is yes, she can. All right, and she has actually cleared it several times, so you might want to check out that video when it comes at a later time. For now, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you guys have learned a lot about Harris. I hope you guys enjoy her farming build. Please don't forget to check out my music on Spotify, all right, or on SoundCloud. I would be grateful if you decide to do that. Thank you so much, all right. That's my fully tested Harris build post patch 1.3.10. I hope this gives you everything you need to farm boss. Well, not boss, sorry. Farm and climb with her effectively. If this helped you, make sure you drop a like, hit subscribe. Don't forget to turn your notifications on by hitting the bell button. All right, the more people that show up to my streams, the better. If we can get 200 viewers per stream, no matter what I'm streaming, we'll be doing cash giveaways as well. All right, let me know in the comments if this helped you out, and look forward to Haley, because that's the next Descendant we'll be optimizing now that Harris is done. Thanks for watching. This is Real Asian Robot, and I'll see you guys in my next guide. Have a good day.